At DIA Amsterdam, we had a keynote from Kalai from Prudential Singapore, and you were talking about how small companies have to work with big companies like yours. Let's first talk about your company. How big is Prudential in Singapore?
Well, in Singapore, Prudential is one of the key life insurance players. We have about 1,200 staff. We underwrite about 1 million lives, and we have the largest agency force of 5,000 agents that solely sell Prudential products.
Yeah. So, if small companies want to work with you, what should they know?
Well, they need to understand that big companies remain big companies, and challenges and complexities that come from being in a big company, those don't go away very easily. So even in companies like ours, where there's clearly a big focus on innovation and bringing in new companies, new technologies to work with us, there will still be challenges that we do need to maneuver. And the sooner we get to it, we maneuver this together, the more successful that either one party is going to be. So one of the things that we always talk about is that, so what really makes the big companies tick? So either you're going to be enhancing some of the work that we are already doing, but more and more we are also looking at new revenue streams and new revenue opportunities. So some of the companies that are actually looking to work with us, if you can really help us pivot into something absolutely new for us, I think that is where a lot of interest is.
Yeah, because what kind of products do? You do life?
Yeah, we do health insurance, we do life insurance, we do savings and investment policies as well.
You do everything through agents and brokers, and that's the indirect model.
Yeah, so 85% of our business is still being driven by the agency force. We have about 10-15% of our business led by bank partners. So we've got 2 banks in Singapore that are solely selling our products. So this is our primary distribution model. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to be looking at alternative models whereby we are able to reach the customers directly, not to disintermediate existing models, but to start looking at new revenue possibilities. For example, we are looking at a millennial population that is coming into the workforce fairly soon. This population may or may not want to buy through traditional channels. We still want to be able to service them. So what are the alternatives that are out in the market? That is something that we are definitely exploring.
Yeah. So everybody's talking about how can you make it more fun, how can you make it more interesting, how can you make it more simple. How simple are the products currently in the indirect model?
So if you want to make it complex, then you can make it as complex as possible. So for example, I use this analogy. If you go to supermarket and you're looking for cereal, you get attracted by a cereal box with a nice colorful rooster on its front and a very nice looking bowl of cereal that is at the bottom. You pick it up, you may or may not even look at what is at the back of the cereal box, which is where all the nutritional information is. The way we sell life insurance today or health insurance today is that we put all the complexity which is at the back of the box, typically in a consumer environment, in front of the customer. We baffle the customer and throw them off. And the customer suddenly realizes that, oh dear, I'm too unintelligent to be buying this product without somebody advising me, so therefore I need to speak to somebody. I'm not saying it's wrong, but as
But that's the current model. So how are you going to move to something new? I mean, how are you working with new companies, basically helping you to come up with new propositions? What are the models?
So one of the things that we are looking at is, in the health insurance space, we need to start moving away from the company that takes money from you as a premium and then write you a check when you are unwell, or write your family a check when you're gone. So instead of being so transactional, we want to start engaging our customer through their entire life cycle, their health life cycle. So we want to be able to work with them when they are young and fit and keep them healthy for a much longer period of time.
Basically, you want to be on their phone.
I do, because that is exactly what nobody can live without. I thought I lost my phone just half an hour ago. It was a life-changing moment when I thought I might have actually lost my phone. So getting into people's mobile phones is absolutely critical in order for us to actually be top of mind and for us to establish a more regular touch point with the customer base. And if they start getting sick, we also want to be there to ensure that they do not get chronically ill too quickly. So what do we do to intervene? What do we do to support them? What do we do to ensure...
What do you do? I mean, do you basically use the Prudential brain, or do you do joint venture, or do you basically invest in other companies which are doing a much more, millennium kind of job?
Yeah, well, we are really in a build by our partner model, and partnership is exactly where I'm driving the part of the business. So I go around the world, look for partners based on the agenda that we have and the strategy that we've got and problem statements that we may have identified. We bring them on board, we trial it, we do a quick test and learn. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then we part ways without investing way too much in the relationship. So that's kind of like what we're exploring at the moment. But the funnel is fairly small at this stage.
Yeah.
We are looking to sort of expanding our funnel by opening up APIs, for example, and then having partners come and work with us in a much larger manner, so that when we funnel through many more companies, the number of companies that we can actually get across the line to do business with us, that number will start to increase as well. And that's the strategy.
Prudential, of course, is everywhere, so you have a lot more other companies. Is there a lot of innovation coming from other parts of the world from your own company?
Well, interestingly, a lot of the innovation is coming out of Asia. So that is now becoming the test bed. The Singapore within Asia is a test bed, and Asia itself is a test bed. Now, if we find very good successes in this part of the world, then it's easier to export those solutions into larger markets like Africa or the US. And that's where the company is going.
Yeah. Okay, so you're basically the innovation lab for Prudential in America. How is DIA been for you? How has DIA been for you?
Well, it is my second year here, and I had a fabulous time last year. I met with a significant number of companies with whom we've actually established some linkages and exploring some possibilities from last year. So I did a circuit last year, went to several conferences, and this is the only one that I've returned to, and it's been very exciting. But one of the things that I will highlight is that, as I started off earlier in my presentation, there's a lot of focus on PNC. I'd like to see more life and health solutions coming into the foray, and perhaps next year there could be a bit more focus on that.
I'm duly noted. Thank you very much.